Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of PT Educators, Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm Dr. F Scott Feil, and I've got a special guest with us today, Joe Szymanek, who's actually formerly from the Doc and Jock podcast with Danny Mattei. I used to listen to those guys back in the day. I can't wait to catch up. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, what your area of expertise is, and how it kind of led you into a children's book.
Yeah, well, thanks a bunch for having me on. I always love talking about this project with folks because I think it's something anyone can do, and maybe if guys like us just keep chatting it out, we'll get more inspiring little tales for kiddos. But yeah, so used to do Doc and Jock with Danny. I'm still great friends with Danny. We're actually going to be getting together on some programming stuff for everybody. But my background strength and conditioning, and I do that whenever and however I can do it. My main base is I really like teaching kids movement patterns. So teaching full time right now in the middle school setting, but I'm still active in weightlifting. I coach people privately for the Olympic lifts. And anywhere I can coach people to get strong and move better, I'm all in on it. But mainly right now with my own kiddos, they're 8, 7, and 6. So the closer I can be that age group and be working and coaching where I can still be involved with them, that's my wheelhouse right now.
Yeah,
But
that's
dang it,
so
if you
awesome.
want to get strong, I'm your boy. How about that? We'll work that out.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. No, that's so awesome. And I think about this all the time because my whole mindset behind this is how many different ways that people in the wellness and health field and healthcare in general can get into different avenues of revenue and streams of income if they just think a little bit outside the box, not even way outside, right? Just a little
Yeah.
bit. Well, tell us a little bit, if you wouldn't mind telling our audience, why should they consider a children's book? What are some of the pros and cons to writing your own children's book? Why
Oh,
should
wow.
healthcare professors and academicians and healthcare clinicians think about a children's book?
Well, not to put myself in their shoes, but I'll tell them why I did it. And I think that might be the best way to go around it. And for me, it was just a way to include my kids in what I was doing and get them to learn more about what I was getting into. And to provide some context, my kiddo book, Luci Meets a Powerlifter, kind of just spawned from just a chance encounter where I was training my little weightlifting team in the garage. And as I was leaving and getting ready to transition to West Point, New York, I was trying to get my teammates and kids I was coaching to interact with this guy, Donnie Thompson, who is a pretty bad dude power lifter. And if you could follow Donnie's work, just the way he's kind of taking a practical approach, and then some of his stuff bridges this powerlifting and PT community with some really neat techniques. But I was like, Donnie's not mean and scary. He's just big and hairy. And then that was the genesis of the book. And it's the opening line. And it was amazing. So from there, it just went. It was something I could include my kids in. And hey, Daddy, what's powerlifting? Well, here's a picture book that explains it because that's a little easier. So it's just a great way to just be creative, bring your kiddos involved with what you're doing, and then just try to get people at a young age maybe interested in what you're interested in.
Exactly. I think that's such a huge take-home point there because I had thought about writing a children's book for a while. I was kicking around the idea. I spoke with you a little bit about your journey and your process back in the day to kind of get my ideas moving and get the process started in the right direction. And mine actually came from going to my daughter's school and giving a little parents occupation day talk on what physical therapy was and
Very cool.
what physical therapists do. And, I kind of started asking the class about pain and what they knew about pain. And it was all negative and Debbie Downer stuff and very scary things. And so I tried to turn that narrative around a little and show the kids that pain is okay. And it's just kind of a signal that lets our body know something's going on and we should address it and take a look at it and try to turn a positive spin on it and then tell them how physical therapists help people with pain. So it was a really cool experience, and I loved it the whole way. I've just sent it off to my best friend from high school who's doing the illustrations for it. He's
Very
an
cool.
illustrator and a graphic novelist and stuff, so I'm really excited to see how it comes out. But
And
just super excited.
I would say another cool thing, just guys were spitting a ball about this, like, as a strength and conditioning coach, there's always this like, you don't want to work with kids in high school, and I want to teach, I want to teach awesome athletes. I want to teach pro athletes. But, if you can take a concept that you're into and break it down to where a kid understands it, like that means I think you have a really grasp of it. Sometimes, and this probably, when you come out of PT school, or at least ways for me when I came out of strength and conditioning, like you want to prove how smart you are more than you want to even get results for your clients. Well, if you can break simple concepts down or complicated concepts down to a simple place where kiddos can get it, I think that's a really good sign of like you get your profession or you get what you really are into anyway.
Yeah, and that's a great transition into the academician, right? The professors. They need to
Yeah.
be able to teach their students in an easier way, right? I need it taught to me like a child too. That's what I need
Yeah.
throughout PT school. So,
Yep.
believe me, if you can teach it at such a simple level and break it down so that even kids can understand, like you said, you're educating on a great
Yeah.
level there.
And get them interested, because
Yeah,
that's part of it too. I mean, I teach middle school. So, everyone's like, I can't get them to do this. I was like, well, man, maybe you got to put the song and dance on for them, because
yeah,
this day and
totally.
age, people need to be entertained a little bit. So,
For sure. For sure. Well, Joe, tell me one thing. Like, what's one tip you would give to somebody just getting started with their idea as far as like a children's book? What's some pro tips you would give to them if they were just starting out?
oh, pro tip, you got to start. I mean, it took me a long time to do Lucy, and just because, you do something, you put it down. You go to something else, you put it down. Just as soon as you can, just start putting pen to paper and just keep plugging away steps. And it's no different than anything else. The things you set deadlines and prioritize, you'll get finished. I mean, I did Lucy, got Lucy done, but I have a couple others on the back burner, and it's just a matter of, you know, plug your time away and put it down, and don't be afraid. You can sit there. Some initial criticisms I got for Lucy was it's too niche, and you're playing into certain things. But no matter what you create, there's always going to be a critic. So the other one is, get started and, do it for your reasons, and screw what any other buddy has to say about it. It's still your thing.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be a million critics out there for anything, so
Sure.
it just doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you can, and this was the same with my book. I put my book out there and I just forgot about it. It's out there now. It's
Yeah.
doing its job. I'm happy with it. I've moved on, and now I'm ready to release the kids' book up next. And same thing. I had a good time with it. It was a good way to incorporate my daughter into things and kind of show her about the world of physical therapy. And I'll have to, like you said, put a couple more on the back burner for when my son grows up a little bit and have him on the next one.
Well, my big thing now is my two biggest critics are my other kiddos,
Yeah, they're
because they're
waiting.
like, where's our book?
Uh-huh.
But then that's what's cool too. I mean, like I said, you can include them. And Lucy, we keep a couple of copies lying around, and
Mhm.
you know, um, Daddy, there's my book. I take my book to school. That's my book, and even that's heartwarming and fun to
Yeah,
do. But it's always tied back to her. If the deal was New York Times bestseller, I'd be super disappointed. But
right.
you go into this creating it for her and for me, and this fun little thing. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Joe, I can't thank you enough for your time and for coming on the vlogcast tonight. Can you tell our audience where they can find you if they have any follow-up questions or want to order the book or just chat with you about your process?
Yeah, so mainly the book ends up like coming with me when I do like a weightlifting course, or it's really kind of word of mouth getting a hold of it. I probably could do a better job of that. But yeah, honestly, I'm most active probably on Instagram, at underscore coach.joe. DM me, follow what I'm doing there. And then the book makes an appearance from time to time. And so do my kiddos, who train with me in the garage and do all sorts of things. So it's probably the best way. There's also joesbarbell.com. That's the website. And then you can reach out to me, Joe at Joe's Barbell is the email.
Awesome. And I'll put those links in the show notes. Again, Joe, thanks so much. It was great catching up and seeing what you're up to these days and what you got coming down the pipeline. Always a pleasure, my friend.
No, I love the idea for the pain book. So keep me posted too on that. My wife's a PT, and I bet you she'll be floored by that idea and probably jealous that I or she didn't come up with it first. So good luck with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's another point, right? Real quick. Even if somebody's already done it, it's your story. So it's going to be totally different,
100%.
told from a different viewpoint. It really doesn't matter. Just do it. Like you said, get out there and do it.
That's right. Love it.
Have a great one, Joe. It's good talking with you.
We're doing it.